Today I want to talk about coping with a chronic illness. If you've watched any of my videos, you probably know my general story, but here it is in a nutshell. In the fall of 2017, I experienced what doctors said was a viral event. Over a 3-week period, I was sick, but nobody could figure out what it was. In the next year, I would suffer repeated weeks of viruses like this. They were identical to the first one. In July of 2018, in a 3-week period, I was diagnosed with bronchitis, shingles, and pneumonia. I was desperately sick, probably the sickest I've ever been in my life. I went to a functional medical doctor because I was desperate for some answers. I spent hundreds and even thousands of dollars there, and basically the diagnosis I got was the Epstein-Barr virus. Over the next 3 years, I would try every protocol and recommended supplement. More money was spent, and yet I was still sick. After a declined life insurance policy, in May of 2021, I received a letter in the mail telling me I was HIV positive. I went to my local infectious disease clinic, and after running the tests, they determined I was indeed HIV positive with a diagnosis of AIDS because of my compromised immune system. You can watch my other videos to see the devastation this diagnosis caused. My husband and I separated and divorced, and I bought a little cottage where I continue to share online at martysmusings.net. I was told that within 3 to 6 months on the right meds for HIV, I was going to notice this amazing change in how I felt. And for the first 6 months, I believe that I did. But whether it was the meds or it was the fact that I was doing everything in my power to get the heck out of my marriage and to find a place to live that was safe, welcoming, and home. Then after those first 6 months, I feel like I've been on this slow decline ever since. And again, the doctors are stymied, and I don't have the answers that I need. It's been 2 years now, and I've been tested for just about everything, and I still don't feel well many days. My immune system numbers, the CD4 count, are still extremely low. Debilitating exhaustion is part of my everyday life. I believe a diagnosis of chronic fatigue syndrome is next because I check all the boxes, and it's the only thing that I believe I can name that is contributing to my continued ill health. I started this YouTube channel with a continued desire to encourage women in hard places, but most of the time I'm just trying to live life as best I can while still battling a chronic illness. Your story may be different and your diagnosis nothing like mine, but if you suffer from a chronic illness, I see you. Your invisible pain is not invisible to me. So in order to help both of us focus on getting better as best we can in the body that we've been given, I wanted to share some tips that I think will help. And let me say, I've tried all these tips. I've researched myself to death. I've spoken to doctors and people online, anybody that I think could help me find answers so I can live a healthier life. So don't take these tips as trite little responses. I see you, and I know that you may have tried all these things, but if not, these are some things for you to think about. Number 1, do everything it takes to get good sleep. I've had insomnia or some form of it since 2004. I took sleeping pills for years and years. Right now I'm in the best sleep that I've had in decades, but I'm living on my own. I am in a healthy, safe environment that I determine who comes in and who doesn't. So I believe that has helped. There are other things that you can do for your sleep, and that's to make sleep a routine. Go to bed at the same time at night, get up in the morning at the same time, even on weekends. That helps your body develop that routine. Stay off electronics at least an hour before bedtime. Some doctors recommend even longer than that. And I get it, it's a temptation. I work online, I want to see how things are doing. But the best thing I can say is your computer, your TV, your device is not helping your sleep. Don't eat late or consume alcohol late at night. I grew up and we'd have ice cream before we went to bed, and That has been a really hard habit to break, but I try not to eat anything after 6 p.m. and then I try not to eat before 9 the next morning. Avoid naps if it affects your sleep. If your body needs it to continue your day, take a nap. You get to figure out what works best for your body, and whether you have a job working from home or where you're actually present in an office somewhere. You get to figure that out. Exercise daily, but not right before bed. And for me, exercise is one of the proponents that's showing me that I may have chronic fatigue, because after I exercise, mainly walking, but sometimes cardio with dance workouts, then I am wiped out. And that's just one of the primary diagnostic factors for chronic fatigue syndrome. Also, evaluate your bedroom. Is your mattress comfortable? Do you have room darkening shades? Are there pets and people in there? Another thing is to lower your stress level, and obviously this is easier said than done, but avoid caffeine, nicotine, and alcohol. For caffeine, doctors often recommend stopping caffeine about 10 a.m., but since I don't drink coffee, I have any caffeine that I might consume is at lunch. So I'm just trying to be done with that by 12. I've also found the older I get, the more caffeine does affect my body. Indulge in some kind of physical activity, walking, stretching, yoga, anything that gets your body moving but doesn't zap your energy for the rest of the day. Moderation is key, especially if you're suffering from chronic fatigue. Journal your feelings, anxieties, etc. I'm a writer, so I've been journaling for years, but it's really helpful to go back and see how far I've come, even if it's just the things that I've dealt with in counseling that have had a positive effect on my body. But if you're anxious about money or you're anxious about your health, journal those things before you go to bed. That will help you clear your mind. Counseling, y'all watch me anywhere, you know I'm a huge proponent of that. I'm actually going to do a video on that, why I believe counseling is so important. But also managing your time. You know, we all waste time. How many hours a day is spent on your device, playing games, going on TikTok, doing all the things that distract us from real life. But if it's too much time, you're missing out on living your life. Learn to say no and give up control to God. Number 3 is to ask for help. Whew. This doesn't reveal weakness but strength, I keep telling myself. And I can't expect others to read my mind when I really do need help. These last 2 years of separation and divorce and a diagnosis of HIV and AIDS have been the most humbling and yet powerful for me. Watching my friends, family, and online community surround me and support me has been a joy. Number 4, deal with the feelings that come from being different. You are not your illness. I always say HIV is what I have, but it's not who I am. However, it can be easy to drown in self-pity or bitterness and resentment. Make the conscious choice to accept the life you've been given, no matter how hard or unfair it may seem. Number 5, connect with others who are struggling. Be an encourager. Find your tribe. Number 6, let go of expectations and trust that God has a bigger plan. This is a hard one because we all have a vision of what our life should be at 20 or 30 or 40 or 50, or like me at 60. This is not what I thought 60 would look like. Yet here I am. So I need to let go of the expectations that my life is going to look a certain way. And I pray and ask God to surprise me, that this path and journey I'm on is difficult, and that He might surprise me with moments of His glorious grace. Vivian Green wrote, "Life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain." As always, I'm sending hope and much love to each of you.